viewers, our next talk is by Dr. Sacchidanand Mishra ji, who will speak on the topic Advaitavada of Manasollāsa. A brief introduction. Professor Sacchidanand Mishra is currently the member secretary in the Indian Council of Philosophical Research. He is well-known academician in the areas of Indian logic and epistemology, conceptual development of Navya Nyaya, Advaita Vedanta, Shuddhadvaita Vedanta, Kashmiri Shaiva schools and Indian aesthetics. Besides being an erudite scholar in classical philosophy and literature in Sanskrita, he is a professor of philosophy and religion at Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi since 2010. And he has served as a lecturer in Nyaya in Rashtriya Samskrita Sansthan, Sadashiva campus, Puri previously. He did his, he got his Vidyavaradi PhD in 1997, and he has triple master degrees in Navya Nyaya, Shankara Vedanta and Samskrita Sahitya. He has been a recipient of a number of awards, including Maharshi Badarayana Vyasa Samman, the Presidential Award in the year 2009. And he has been also, he was selected for ICCR, selected by the ICCR for prestigious Samskrita chair at Sorbonne Nouvelle University in Paris in 2012. Dr. Mishra has authored and edited around 12 notable books in the field of Nyaya, Vedanta and other areas of Sanskrit philosophical literature. He has also edited the eminent research journal Anvishiki, volume 7 to 11. He has contributed chapters in various books and published more than 50 research papers in various journals. He has been invited as resource person in academic events, including seminars, conferences, and workshops and special lecture programs. And he is a very well recognized Vidwan in Nyaya and Vedanta. Thank you very much, sir, for making time for the program. Please go ahead and start your session.
Namo Namaha. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bhed Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurti Namaha. Respected scholars, panelists, and the listeners, this is indeed a great matter of pleasure to be invited for a talk on the Advaita philosophy of Acharya Sureshvara. When Dr. Nitin Sridhar invited me for this talk, I just chose the topic to present my thought on Manasollasa. Because in 2008, I edited a commentary of Manasollasa by Ananta Krishna Shastri, who is a well-known scholar. And the commentary is known as Manasollasa Vardhini. He wrote this commentary on this text in order to refute some claims and resolve some doubts. Actually, there are so many issues related to Manasollasa. Manasollasa is a commentary on Dakshinamurti Stotra. And it is accepted traditionally that Dakshinamurti Stotra is written by Acharya Shankara. And later on, it is commented by Sureshvara Acharya in the form of Manasollasa or Manasollasa Vartikam. But the current thinkers, the modern thinkers, think that this text is not actually written by Acharya Shankar or Sureshvara Acharya. There are so many arguments. One author, Professor C. Markandeya Shastri, wrote a book, Philosophy of Sureshvara Acharya in the light of Manasollasa. And in that text, he doubts the authenticity of this text, whether this text written by Sureshvara Acharya, and the point he raised that there is a probability that this text is written by some Kashmir Shaiva follower, Kashmir Shaiva scholar. And this statement, this position is also not without some basis. Because if we consult the text Manasollasa, we can find it out that in the text there are explanations of 36 tattvas which are accepted in Kashmir Shaiva philosophy. Therefore, the scholars like C. Markandeya Shastri, Corliss Potter, and some others argue that this text is written by Sureshvara Acharya can be accepted only if it is established that Dakshinamurti Stotra is written by Acharya Shankara. And they doubt that Dakshinamurti Stotra is written by Acharya Shankara. Keeping into these considerations, Ananta Krishna Shastri, who was a well-known scholar, an encyclopedic scholar of 20th century, wrote this commentary on Manasollasa, Manasollasa Vardhini. The commentary was full of mistakes in the way, because he wrote traveling and going on here and there. So manuscript was not well preserved. And on the basis of single manuscript, this text was edited by me in 2008. Therefore, I thought that it will be better to present my ideas on this text, Manasollasa. And what is the Advaitavada of Manasollasa? And there could be some doubts, some issues, whether this Advaita philosophy, this Advaitavada, is a kind of Advaitavada propounded by Acharya Shankara, or this is that kind of Advaitavada which is propounded by Abhinavagupta and well developed by the followers of Abhinavagupta. So these are actually issues. And it can be noted that both the philosophies, the philosophy propounded by Acharya Shankara, and actually it is not propounded by Acharya Shankara, because Acharya Shankara himself says that I am not propounding any new philosophy, rather I am commenting on the Vedanta sutras. Vedanta Vakya Kusuma Grathanarthatvat Sutranam. This is the statement of Acharya Shankara. He says that these Vedanta Sutras are not propounding any new idea. So we should not think that Badarayana propounded Advaita philosophy. But Badarayana has presented the Advaita philosophy which was present in the Vedanta text, Upanishads, in many Upanishads. So whether this Advaitavada is Upanishadic Advaitavada, or this Advaitavada is following the footsteps of Abhinavagupta, where this is, we can say that one is Upanishadic Advaitavada, and the second one we can say that Agamika Advaitavada. So where this text belongs to, whether this Manasollasa belongs to Upanishadic Advaitavada tradition or Agamika Advaitavada tradition. And here, when we are dealing with the question, we have to be very careful, because both these philosophies are propounding Advaitavada. And if Advaitavada is propounded, there will be much more similarity than the differences. Therefore, it will be very difficult to find out clearly, because there will be no possibility of making a division like watertight compartments. These two thoughts can influence each other. In that way, it will be very difficult to find out whether this philosophy, this traditional text, which accepted by traditional scholars, a writing of Sureshvara Acharya and Dakshinamurti Stotra as a writing of Acharya Shankara. So, in order to understand Advaitavada of Manasollāsa, I will be taking only one shloka of Dakshinamurti Stotra, the first one, and how Sureshvara Acharya commented on this shloka, how he presented the prior position, how he is presenting the groundwork of this shloka. If we take into consideration these points, I think it will be a good idea to have a clear understanding of Advaitavada of Sureshvara Acharya in the light of Manasollasa. Because in that slok, the first slok is this one. Vishwam darapana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantaragatam pashyan atmani maya bahirivod bhutam yatha nidraya yah sakshat kurute prabodha samaye swatmanamevadvayam tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. So you can see that in this shloka, the last line says, Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. So Dakshinamurti and Gurumurti, these two are taken as identical. And in the Manga Shloka, which I uttered in the beginning of my talk, Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. In that slok also, the same point is propounded. Actually, every Advaita philosophy has to face some challenges. The challenges are there, how to accommodate the multiplicity of objects, how to remove the distinction between the knower and the object which is known. So you can see here, Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine. Ishvara, Guru and Atman. These three. How these three can be identified, can be taken one, how these three can be reduced to one. This is the challenge. In other words, you can say that there is the challenge, how to reduce the knower and the known to one. Because in our every experience, the knower and the known object appear to be distinct. We can remember very well when Acharya Shankara begins the commentary Shariraka Bhashya on Brahma Sutras, he begins with Adhyasa Bhashya. In the Adhyasa Bhashya, what he is saying? Yasmadasmat pratyego. This is the starting point. Tamaha prakashavad viruddha svabhavayo. So he says that these two, Yasmad and Asmat pratyego. One which is Yasmat pratyego and one which is Asmat pratyego. How there could be identity between you and me? You is different and I is different. I and you cannot be equated, cannot be identical. This, how am I claiming it? Because our experience tells us that these two, when we teach someone where to use the term I and where to use the term you, we make the person very much acquainted, not to mistake when one is using the term you and when the person is using the term I. So this is Vyavahara. These are empirical uses. And when empirically we are using the term I and you, we are very much aware of the fact, the point that these two are not identical and that these two cannot be equated in so far we are using the words. So in so far we are using the words, these two cannot be identical. And beyond words, when you are talking about, there could be a possibility that these two could be identical. So the same type of challenge is taken by Sureshvara Acharya in the commentary of Dakshinamurti Stotra. He's saying, he's beginning the text, he's saying, Atmalabhat parolabho nasti iti munayo viduhu tallabhartham kavistauti swatmanam parameshwaram. So there is another point, another distinct point. As there is a difficulty in understanding identity between I and you, in the same way there is a problem in understanding the identity between God and Atman. Therefore, when the Upanishad sentence says, Tat Tvamasi, thou are you, it becomes very difficult to understand. Therefore, there is a whole process is explained that in order to realize this statement, in order to understand the meaning of this statement, one has to become adhikari first. Because without acquiring that adhikar, one cannot realize what is meant by this text, this sentence. Because there is a great difference. Tat, that, and Tvam, you. Who is you? The person who is you means Atman. Atman knows a little, Alpagya, and God knows everything. So God is omniscient. And we, the human beings, we, the knowers, know a little. How there could be identity between the God and the Atman? Because it appears clearly that one, the God, is omniscient, and the person who is the knower knows a little. So both cannot be identical. And in order to remove this problem itself, Sureshvara Acharya says that Swatmanam Parameshwaram, Kavi, the teacher, is praying to God, whom? The God who is not different from us, who is not different from the knower, rather identical with the knower. Therefore, there is a possibility of this type of Mangalacharana, which says that Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana. So how is it possible? what are actually, when we are going to explain something which is beyond our common sense experience, which goes against our common sense experience, we have to use some examples. Because without using those examples, we cannot make anybody understand. So what are the examples? Some examples are given in many places. Once writing, Amalanand says, and that is also one example. Swashaktya natavad brahma karanam shankaro bravit. Jiva bhranti nimittam tad babhashe bhamini bhamati pati. So Acharya Shankar says, Acharya Shankar said clearly that Brahman is Karana. Brahman is the cause. How? Due to his own power, he is the cause of this world. As there is a nut, the person who is a dancer, actually this example of nut reminds me another term which is known, an epitome of Lord Shiva, Nataraj. So Acharya Shankar says that Brahman is cause of this world because of his power as nut. Have you seen any action when one person is making many actions, doing a job of king, making a little bit somehow another role of? So you can see that there is one person and single person is there, and the person is doing role of so many persons. One at once he is making the role of king, another time he is making the role of another person. And when the person is doing the role of acting like a king, acting like a beggar, acting like a Brahmin, or acting like someone else, he is making us believe that there is a king in front of us, there is a Brahmin in front of us. In the same way, there is a beggar in front of us. And when the person is acting in that way, we get influenced by that action. That is the power of that person, acting power, acting capacity of that person. So what Acharya Shankara told? Acharya Shankara told that Brahman is the cause of this world due to his own capacity, due to his own power. But when this statement came to Vachaspati Mishra, he told differently. He explained it differently. He told that there is no causality, there is no, Brahman is not the cause of this world. How he could be cause of this world? Jiva Bhranti Nimittam. So this causality is actually a confusion of the knower. So this is the position taken by Vachaspati Mishra, the husband of Bhamati. So now we have another student of Acharya Shankara, Sureshvara Acharya. He is taking another example. And you can see that in this text in Manasollasa, there is one example is given, the example of yogi. There is a yogi, and the yogi is capable of his own, because due to his own power, capable of creating this world out of his own inner sense. And here you can see, you can find out some examples. And that is very easy example to understand, because we all witness that. Whenever we sleep, sometimes we dream. And when we dream, we find that in the dreaming process, there are so many persons. We are crying, we are laughing, we are enjoying. But when we are awakened, when our sleep is broken, we are left alone. There is nobody else. Whatever the person who was fighting with us, no more. The person who was laughing with us, making us laugh, no more. The person who was giving us, was enjoying with us, walking with us, talking with us, no more. Now we are alone. So this is the example which is very much fitted to in explaining this Advaitavada. Therefore, Sureshvara Acharya took this example. And I can say that this is not the novelty of Sureshvara Acharya that he took this example. If you go through the text, Bhashyas written by Acharya Shankara, you may find so many examples at different places. And this example is used by Acharya Shankara himself in Dakshinamurti Stotra. So here, before going to explain this shloka, he asks the question, Ishwaratvam cha jivatvam sarvatmatvam cha kidrisham janiyat tat katham jiva kim taj jnanasya sadhanam. Again he says, Sarvagya sarvakarta cha katham atma bhavishyati. So there are so many problems. You cannot accept simply yourself identical with God. Because you see, how could I be God? God is so powerful, omnipotent, omniscient, and we are so incapable. And you can see that whatever God wishes, that completes. And whatever we wish, that doesn't get completed so easily. So there is a great problem. So how we can know and how we could become God, how we could be identical with the God. So these are the challenges. And I think these are the challenges for any kind of Advaitavada. Because one has to limit to one. Because everything must be reducible to one. And if everything is not reducible to one, if there is more than one, there is no possibility of Advaita. Therefore, Advaita means na-dvaita, where there is no duality. So we have to reject the duality. We have to show somehow that the duality is not real or duality is mithya. So how will it be possible? And there is one example. And this example is also very much common to all human beings. When we bathe in the morning, we usually go in front of a mirror. And seeing ourselves in the mirror, we make ourselves, we do something to our face, and we make our hair, etc. So you can see at that time, however, there is only one, but appears to be two. In the same way, the example is given here. Vishwam darapana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantarigatam. But however, there is a little bit of difference. So one example is this one, that as in front of us there is a mirror, and in the mirror there is a village, there is a city. there a city appears. Darapana Drishyamana Nagari. Tulyam, but there is a problem. In our day-to-day life, when we witness ourselves, when we perceive ourselves in the mirror, one can say, how you are equating? The duality is there. However, when you are seeing yourself in the mirror, that your picture might be unreal, but mirror is real. So duality is left. You and mirror, there are two things. Therefore, there is a mirror. There is a pratibimba of yourself. So another example is also intervened. That example is that Pasyanatmani Maya. Actually, you are seeing yourself in yourself, but it appears to be outside. This is your own power. Due to your own power, you are perceiving in that way. However, the things appear to be external, but those are not external, as in the case of our sleep. Yatha nidraya. So when actually there is only one person, but appears to be many. It appears that there are many persons. However, there is only one person. And when we wake up, there is one. There is no difference. There is no other word. There is no other person. So that duality is actually reduced to one. Because except ourselves, there is nobody. So in the same way, it is said, Pasyanatmani Maya Bahiriva. Atmani. You are seeing many, not external, but you are seeing many in yourself. But it appears to be many in external world. So the person who is witnessing it, Sakshat Kurute, who is perceiving it. Who is perceiving? The question can be asked, who is perceiving? Actually, we are perceiving. The I is perceiving. I am perceiving. So, Yah Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye, when awakened, the person who is perceiving Atmanamevadvayam, Tasmai, that Atman is actually God, that is actually Guru, and I am making our pranamas to that Guru, that God. So you can see that in this text, in this shloka, Sureshvara Acharya very easily concluded that whatever duality is available, whatever duality is coming in our experience, that is not external, that is not distinct from ourselves, rather it is identical with the knower. So there is Advaitavada, there is this type of Advaita philosophy, and you can see that in this Advaitavada and in Abhinava Gupta's Advaitavada, Kashmir Shaiva branch of Advaitavada, there could be some differences, but the difference is actually of the approach. How you are approaching to the this non-duality, this is the point. And here I find that this text of Acharya Sureshvara Acharya is following the footsteps of Acharya Shankara and Gaudapada. And in the commentary, Manasollasa Vardhini, Ananta Krishna Shastri very beautifully elaborated and presented the idea that in this text, Yoga Vasishtha philosophy is also very much influential. So I think I should conclude with these words. Thank you very much, Nitin Sridhar, for giving me this opportunity. Namaste.
It was a very brilliant exposition on the Advaitavada of Manasollasa. and there are so much things that we are not aware. These are the texts I believe that more and more people should study in detail. So I'm very glad that you are able to take and shed light on this text. Thank you very much, sir.